everyone. I come back your way again, and it's been again and again and again. I hope my last video that I did helped. Okay, so let's come back to business today also. In this video today, I'm going to take us through, especially with the class teachers, how to be checking which subject teacher has submitted his or her result and what's showing up on the student report card. Okay, so that if any of the teachers hasn't, you just find a way to let them get it done, or you nudge them, or you escalate the issue. Right, so I'm not going to waste much of your time. So as a class teacher, let me use this account right here. As a class teacher, we'll have to visit your classes. Right, I'll have to visit your classes right from here. It's been always class by class. Right, so I'm using this class, that is grade 6. And then when you open this side, you'll be seeing the classes that you are teaching. But you can see there's a particular class that has a tag, okay, which says form class, which means you are the teacher who oversees whatever goes on in this class. You have that extra responsibility and care of the class. So when you click on this class, you'll get to see that you have some tabs, right, like overview, students, subject assessment, timetable, awards, reports, and analytics. But realize if I should go back here, I should click on any of these, maybe 6A. You won't see them again. Why? Because these are not your form class, or this is not your form class. Right, you won't see them. So this is what those of us who arrange mainly class teachers will be always seeing. But for you, the class teacher, you see this and you see everything about the class. Right, so the first tab in here, that is the overview. You're going to see everything happening in the class. That is their assignment and assessment that they are taking. All right, because we did most of our computing assignment that is formal on computer systems. Yes, you may be seeing everything, the scores and everything that we have here. And then you'll be seeing what statistics of your class, that is the total students, the boys and then the girls, and then the class level. Okay, so in the system we have class level. And then with the second tab, so if I should move to students, you see all of them, all of the students in your class. So you can scroll. Okay, so this teacher has done the gender for her class. Right, you can also be searching, for the student in your class. Yes, so I searched and then it worked. So with the status, assuming maybe there's a student who had left, just click on this, and this is new status. Okay, so we have active, inactive, or on leave. Maybe the student might be back, maybe left the school. This is as graduated, transferred out, redrawn, expelled, or deferred. So you can pick any of them. Assuming maybe I should pick maybe left the school, you have to provide maybe the day the students left, and then the reason, maybe if you know the reason, but if you don't, maybe other. Right, and then you just click on update status right here, and then it shows that the student may be left or suspended, deferred, inactive, any of them. So this statuses will be changing. So that is that. And then we have this button here. Okay, I guess you may be asking, what are these ones used for? Why are they even here? All right, so they are in there just to help the class teacher. Maybe sometimes some students individually they get promoted, so I should click this. All right, the destination class, maybe the student is going to be demoted or going to be promoted. You may be having this. Yes, all right, so you will be seeing this one here. All right, but we have where you may see all of the class. Okay, if you click on this button, that is a multi-select. You should click on this, select everybody, which means we can move everybody in the class, okay, to the next class. Right, so let me toggle this off. Let me move to the next one. So you can also export your class list. Maybe you want them in Excel. So I click on this and then it saves. So let me open this. Yeah, so I have all of the class details, the enrollment number, username, gender, first name, last name, and everything right here. And the reason why you are not going to see this is that their names were meshed together, so it has been uploaded already into the system. Okay, so you won't be seeing it this way unless it is being re-uploaded. So if you need it, maybe the class, the head teacher able to make that provisions. Yes, so initially it was only name, but later on we thought of no, we have to de-escalate it, and then maybe some students have first name, second name, and even maybe third name, or first name, middle name, and then the last name. So you'll be having this. Okay, so I go back, and the subject. So with this, you are going to see all of the subject that is being done in your class. So if you see any of them that is not being done in your class, you just prompt the head teacher, and then it gets taken out. So you are going to be seeing also the teacher's name, like Madam Mavis, Mr. Kingsley, Mr. Ochnell, Miss Dora, Miss Mavis, Mr. Gideon. Yeah, so you have them, and then the subject they are taking in your class, right? So that is that. And then we have the assessment. Okay, so this one shows you all of the assessment the class is taking, right? Yes, as I said initially, or last time, we did majority or almost all of our exercises, class work, home links, almost all of them, just yes, online. So you may find the assessments in here, and then you find the timetable for your class. Okay, so if I should click on manage timetable like this, you're going to see everything in your class. All right, that is a weekly class, and this is exam schedule. All right, so this right here. Okay, so I get back teacher availability in your class, and it goes on and on and on. And then the next one, that is awards. At the end of the term, if all results are submitted, all right, you can generate awards for your, but I'll come to this in a separate video. All right, so class teachers are going to be the only ones seeing this, right? Class teachers, head teachers, OIC coordinator, and yes, they are going to see this. So when you come here, you are seeing we have the class report management, right? You can see this small badge here. It says haven't started at all, assuming the teacher hasn't done anything at all, right? You see this one here, and here it says for class report. So you have the term, this is third term, second term, this is first term, right? And then we also have this step 1. As a class teacher, anytime you come to this particular page, you have to try your possible best to take step 1. You have to generate or update the report, right? Assuming maybe teachers have entered their result, somebody wants to do an update, maybe change the score from maybe 67 to 68. You have to generate and update it every time you come here, okay, to get the current, okay, or the latest result. So let me click on this, let's see what happens. Okay, it says 25 student report generated. So you can see the badge has changed, now in progress. So we are now in progress, right? So first things first, you always will generate, right? So you can see it is showing us generated. So let's have a look. So we have the student name, the total and the rank, the status, and then the actions. So let's take them one by one. So the student name, we have the total score, and then the position. So this is position 6, that is the second, this is the first, this is the 7th, this is the 14th. The status shows it has been generated, it hasn't been submitted, it hasn't been approved or anything. And this is a development environment, a testing environment. So I know if madam you are watching this video, you realize that it's not showing this way, right? This is a development, it is in my local computer, it is not going to be seen outside by anybody. So the data that are being altered in here is not going to affect the ones that are already on the live server. I'm just using this as a demonstration for the tutorial, Okay, so this is not going to affect. So you'll not be seeing that, you'll be seeing something different, right? So as a class teacher, right? So I think let me just get down here again, and then here you realize this button here, this button called the individual report, it only shows up, or it only works when you have generated. So assuming you don't generate, this button is not going to work for you to see the report cards for individual students. And we have also the midterm broadsheet. That is where you come to check the midterm. If I should click on this, we are seeing the midterm, right? The positions, we are seeing everything right here, right? So let me go back, and then we also have the end of term. When it is complete, we may have this end of term, right? So if it is complete, we may be having this end of term, but if it isn't, then we may not be having the accurate scores. And then we have the individual report also right here. But let's go to our focus, right? So our focus is to look at if the each individual teachers actually was submitted their result, right? So we can even check out from the notification, realize that maybe this teacher has done that. So this is Mr. Gideon, this is Miss Zura, and then it goes on and on and on. But in simple terms, or a simple way to do that, we use this action button, that is review and then remarks, right? So I could pick this student, maybe number 3 here. So I pick this, and then it shows me, this one shows me the student's name and then the subject, right? So the the continuous assessment, and then the exam score, and then the total score. So you can tell science has done class assessment, and then the exam. History has also done, computing has done that, Oxford English has done that, RME has done that, Math has done that, French has done that, Creative Art has done that. Let's go down. GA has done only the continuous assessment, right? But with the exams, it hasn't been done. So this is not part. Yes, madam, I know this is not showing up again. As I said, I'm in the dev mode, so I'm just doing some testings. Okay, the reason why I just left it this way, I even forgot to even take it off. Yes, after trying it out. So this tells us that GA hasn't submitted the result. So the teacher is going to find out, or is now going to know. Is now going to know that, okay, so all of these ones, they've done theirs except this. So you can only call the teacher, or any ways to reach him or her, for it to be done. Okay, so after you are done with that, or maybe in case all of them, they've done everything, right? The next thing to do is to check up this side. All right, we have the academic summary. This is the total score, right, for now for the student, and then this is the average, and this is the position. Then we have the attendance, 55/56, right? And then the class teacher's remark, this is where it shows. So as a class teacher, I always advise that before you do the remarks, you should wait for the teachers to upload all of their result, or key in all of their result. The reason why I'm saying this is that so that even if you are using the AI to generate the remarks, the AI will know the actual score, the actual total performance of the students, okay, so that it gives you a better remarks. And then also, if you are even using the template, so that the template gives you the actual remarks. So let me just click on the template. I just click on one. It says the student is at secure, right? It's at secure. So let me just click this. Okay, now we have it right here. So assuming GA has been submitted, and maybe GA is maybe somewhere 90, don't you think the secure would have changed to maybe extending to give you a better remarks? Of course, yes. Okay, the same way, I should use the AI. Yeah, so the AI is actually what looking at the actual result and then what giving us the remarks as you are seeing. Okay, so it is always best to do this when all of the subject teachers are done so that you get the actual remarks. So this was keyed in, this has been also keyed in, student development and then the trait. So this is out of 5, so it just gets selected. And then in case the joy of learning teachers or subject teachers hasn't done, or in case they've even done their remarks for the students, you're going to see them here. You see each one of them here. Or in case they haven't done, that is here. So you just select also these ones. Okay, but it's best if they do it by themselves, because that is why I've placed it in here as optional. It is just here as optional, right? It is best because they have been teaching their class and then they know, each of the students, whatever that is happening with them, they observe them very well. So after you are done, you can click on save. So assuming it is a third term, you can also see this, right? Promoted. Okay, you can promote the whole class. Okay, if it is the whole class, fine. If it is some, then you don't have to do this. Okay, so you can promote the whole class, or you can actually demote even the whole class if you want to. It is only being used at the end of the year, that is the third term, right? If it's the third term, that is end of the academic year, right? That is third term. So you say remarks. So you do this for each one of the students. So assuming everything is done, you just come here, you toggle on this, that is putting your signature on. Realize it says what? Include my signature. So you put on your signature, and then you can even check before you send it. Alright, you can even check before you send it. So let's wait. Yeah, so this is the student. Okay, this okay, let me just, this is an empty student. This is also an empty student. Yeah, so this student has data. So this is the first, right? So we have this table showing us the attendance, total subject, the raw score, position, and the rank. So when everything is, I think, madam, I think your end, it should be showing 9, not 10, because of the what's the name, the orphaned subject that has been added in the dev. So we are seeing 10, but no worries, on the original live server it's 9. So the total raw score and then the position and everything has been done. So initially I showed you this in the OIC report card in the overview. Realize we saw this for each of the student. It has been taken care of those, so subject teachers don't have to worry about this. So it goes on and on and on and on, and then you see that the signature shows in here. So assuming it has been sent or submitted for approval and it is done and then published, the headmistress signature is going to also show here. Okay, so this brings us to the end of this video. It has been a little bit lengthy, but I know it may probably help. But wait, don't go yet. Let me add something to this video before I end it. So after everything has been submitted, published, students are seen at their end, parents can access the result and everything. And as a class teacher, you can even come to your class to do some to look at the class analytics in here, right? Maybe I should be doing this in another video, but let me just do this in here so that the videos, we get just short series, right? So we have results, and then we have enrollment. This is enrollment, right? In your class, this is result. So we have result, and then we have analytics right here. So you have the overview. Okay, so you'll be seeing the best subject, your students are doing well in your class. Put it on, it shows. Okay, so it is in that order, that is English, RME, science, creative art, French, history, math, computing, GAN, and then this is not bad, right? So that is not bad. So it shows you the top students in your class. This one shows you the top 3 students in your class, and you can just explore. All right, you can just explore from here we have the word by subject. So by subject, English comes first. We have the highest, that is 98%, the lowest 75%, the median, and then the students what the developing students, and then we have the pass rate, and then RME follows. So it follows up and up and up. So what does this one mean? It means that 12 students actually have what grade 2, and then 7 actually got what grade 1, and then 5 students got what grade 3. So if I should click on this, it shows me that there were 12 students who had grade 1. I should go to maybe a subject like the math. You put math here, 9 students had what grade 4. So it goes on and on and on. So computing is also here. So 9 students actually have this, grade 7. Yes. So this is going to help the class teacher to find out how the class is doing, at his or her comfort zone to know, and then find out why that the students are not doing assessment or assignment on computing or maybe on math. Like, what is the real issue? So you can also click for the grade chart, okay, to know. It gives you absolutely everything that you need as a class teacher, okay, to analyze your class. And then you can go to the grade analysis as well, okay. So you have a graph in here. So this is excellent, right? And then this is very good. It goes on and on and on that way. So 2 students, this is grade 2. Yes, 2 grade. We have what yes, these students are having excellent here, and you still have also the graph in here. And then very low, that is a student having what a very low result or performance. And then this is class-wide, so you can also check up with the subject. So the subject, yes, you can see from here 2 excellent, and then you can click to see, and that probably might be English, and then 1 exceptional also might be English probably. And then this is also what very good, right? Yeah, so we have all of these, and then you go on to the next one. So you can see it is English, right? As I said, probably English. If I should select maybe math, it shows this way. I should click on this. Yes, you can tell. So student rankings in your class, right? So you can also come here to see, it arranges them in that order, first, second, third, and then the average, the subject that how many did they pass? They passed 8, maybe they failed 2 or 1, and then yes, so you can tell these are 2. There are 2 subjects, but 1 isn't part, right? So you can tell 3 subjects. This particular student was failing maybe 2 because 1 isn't part. So this is 1 1 1 1 2 2, and then it goes on and on and on, right? So when you come here, you can click on the subject matrix, right? That is the rankings table. We have the subject matrix. So you see this student had 1 in what in English, 1 in RME, 1 in science, creative art, French, 2 in history, and then it goes on and on and on. Yeah, so it goes on and on and on and on that way, right? Computing, Ghanaian language, RME, and then it shows you everything. And then you have the student asterisks. So it shows you the subject that some of them are not doing well, right? This is Ghanaian language, right? So you can be asking the student what is the problem, so the student almost have about 3 subjects: computing, mathematics, Ghanaian language. So that gives you an idea and a very broad oversight over the student, right? Because as a class teacher, you should be concerned, right? Everybody wants their student to be doing well, right? So you should be concerned. And then when I go to the score distribution here, so we also have the score distribution. Yes, so it shows this way. This is from 51 to 60, 61 to 70, 71 to 80, 80 to 90. This one shows what 0 students, 0 students. This one shows some few students, plus 6 students, and then we have also plus 6 students from here. So moving down, you're going to see this is in mathematics, that is mathematics and then physics, okay, a correlation, okay, or regression. That is how it looks like, right? So you just put it on, and then what it gives you the information that you may be needing. All right, so each of them, okay, so everything is scattered across, or maybe we can say this is scatter chart or scatter diagram. This is for all subjects, but if you want, you can pick only one subject. This is for science, so these are the students, right? So this one on top, like that, and then it also has the stretch from here to here, and then you have the subject statistics summary, okay, like what we've seen before. So let me move to the insight. That is the last one. So strong overall performance of the class. So this one shows that the class, even though some students are failing, but on overall performance, it is 100%. Okay, and then 24 students at risk, as I showed you, and then RM. This is not part, so RM is not a concern, right? On the madam's part, if you should check right now, she realized that this is not going to be RME. And then Oxford English is the strongest in the class. So subject ranking, it arranges the subject. So you are going to know as a class teacher, the subject that your class they do very well, and the ones that they don't do very well. And the last thing, okay, so let me just add this. You can also export here, okay, the data. Can export the data. So it shows up like that nicely. Alright, and then you have this per subject, so you can be looking at this. This is the averages, and this is the median, this is the highest, this is the lowest, this is per subject, right? And then the pass rate, we have the graded, the number of students who are graded. So even here you can tell, okay, 2 students are not graded, you can tell something reduced. Student ranking, per the position, and then per subject are going to be seeing everything. And then the grade distribution, also seeing them. So this is why I said we had to wait. There is something last year, I'll talk about this later in another video. So it being quite a long run with this video, but I'll be glad if we all understand the benefit and the importance, okay, of this particular thing that is being done or that is being shown to us, so that we appreciate that right now we have data at our fingertips, right? We know whatever that is happening, okay, more or less. Like sometimes you want to be in the class, or maybe sometimes only see the student performance on the report card, right? But with this, you will appreciate this data as a class teacher, okay? Hopefully it helps. Hopefully you find it also helpful. Until we meet again, the name is Kwame A+, and I'm out. Watch out. Peace. Shalom. Bye bye.